plays for the community. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here with LiquiShare. So excited to talk about it.
Yeah, awesome. It's it's a pleasure having you back here again, and good to see you again. And very excited to dive deep into your project.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be back as well.
Awesome. Okay, so I just hit the record button. I'm gonna give a quick introduction really quick. Hey everyone, appreciate you all being here at USA Crypto Group for this AMA session. Today we have a project called LiquiShare with us. LiquiShare is a revolution in decentralization where every holder plays a crucial role in this growth and governance. So with that, I'd like to welcome Rick from the team. Rick, it's a pleasure seeing you again. If you can start out introducing yourself, talking about your team, and giving us a bit of insight into your background experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Rick. For those of you that don't know, I'm actually a YouTuber. Been a YouTuber since 2017. It's youtube.com/CryptoRick. And I got into crypto right before I started making videos. And one thing I love about crypto is the decentralization, is the freedom it gives us, and the opportunity it presents to have a more stable and more fun life, really. And then meet people from across the globe has really been one of the more passionate things for me in the space here. So that's really what got me all in on crypto in the first place. And then I had the nasty feeling that everybody else out there has had probably countless times, and that is those fun things called rug pulls. And I got to the point where I decided I was sick and tired of having these rug pulls happen and wanted to do something different. So that's when I started making projects myself and put together a team of people around me that I could trust. And we've made, probably a dozen projects together now at this point. Everything has always been above board and fair, and very little meme stuff without utility. I like to try to strive for utility. So we've been able to build and grow these things. Some of them have been huge multi-year projects. One lasted about 4 years, hit $10 million at its all-time high. So there's been a lot of stuff out there that we've been able to deliver. And with LiquiShare, it kind of blends a lot of those things that I've learned, a lot of the technology that we've built behind the scenes, because I have Solidity coders that are on my team. So we build these custom contracts ourselves. So that's kind of one of the big differences too. We're not some copy and paste project. So I wanted to bring it all together here and really provide one of the most fair and truly decentralized projects on the market. And that's what I'm doing here with LiquiShare.
I appreciate the introduction. Yeah, you have been around for a very long time. And like you kind of spoke earlier there, you do run a pretty big YouTube channel as well. And, from the last time we spoke, you put together a very, very good team with a very solid team. So yeah, very, very happy to have you here again. And before we dive into the project. Now, I know that the project has been live, so I'm just going to get a few basic questions out of the way first. First, when was it launched? Second, are there any vested token left that the community should know about?
Yeah, first things first. Number one, there were never any vested tokens that were going to be surprise dumped out there. I did hold a private sale with some trusted people that I knew would hold the floor. And you can see we've actually never really dipped below launch price. We went 3-4x right out of the gate. And people, of course, took profits. The market did what it did over this past week and a half, 2 weeks. And so I kind of let it go on the back burner, waiting for a little bit of glimmer of hope before kicking up the marketing again. Also wanted to make sure we were shaking out some of those maybe not so strong hands prior to the next leg up. So launched, I believe, about a month ago now, almost to the day. It was March 10th-ish or so we launched. So a little over a month. We've been out and established, and the people that have been staking have been earning a substantial amount this entire way. So that's been good to see. And again, we've had some ups and downs like the regular crypto market throughout this time. And one thing about me that is completely different than what you're going to experience in pretty much every other AMA or Telegram group or anything like that is I'm not going to come out here and tell you that we're going to go 100x. That's not what I do. What I say is I'm going to put together a safe project, one with some utility, continue to develop it, work on some marketing, do some AMAs, try to get the word out there. And that's all I ever promise. And sometimes these things absolutely explode when the community likes it. And sometimes, they're more of a short-term thing. So I'm hoping that this is a nice long-term project, because I've really put something together here that's designed to be sustainable. And we have some new utilities that we're just about ready to launch as well, which will add some gamification, some fun to this, while also building the liquidity and making the project that much more stable and decentralized, since every transaction makes this a little bit more and more decentralized.
Awesome. So I'm assuming that you guys just had a private sale, and based off that money, just went straight to launch, correct?
Yeah, exactly. We put like 60% of it or so to LP. Then we put some of it towards, some launch marketing and things of that nature. One thing about this space, if you haven't created a project in the past yourself, ladies and gentlemen, this ain't cheap. This ain't free to do. So when they say dev needs to eat, usually he needs to eat so he can feed others and feed the marketing train. It just is what it is. That's the space we're in. Nothing is cheap in this space.
100%. I mean, with you running a YouTube channel as well, and man, you're a very busy guy, I gotta say. Running a project is not that easy, guys. I know the barrier to launching a project nowadays is actually very low, but there are a lot of things that goes behind it, not just launching a project, right? There's a lot of technicalities that go behind it. You got to spend a lot of time. You got to know marketing. You got to, it's the whole 9 yards. So a lot of people think it's easy to run a project. It is not.
It's easy to rug a project. And that's why the majority of them out there end up doing that, right? Because they have no ability to actually build anything. And that's where we kind of pride ourselves on our differences, is that's why we don't rug. That's why we can continuously add new and different spins on existing utilities and try new things, is because my team is the one creating these contracts. I'm not having to pay some independent programmer or independent coder those obscene rates that it costs to get these contracts built. I come up with an idea, I tell it to the team, and they go out there and they build it, right? So that's the difference in why we can say we're providing utility that hasn't been done before, because our guys are literally creating this code line by line by line that's never been done. And that is so different than 99.9% of the projects out there that just use the copy and paste button, throw it into Remix, and call themselves a developer.
Correct. Now let's get into the core value, or the foundation of the LiquiShare here. Let's talk about LiquiShare. What differentiates it, and also I want to touch base on, you put a lot of emphasis on, the space is filled with rugs, and what are you guys doing different to ensure that this is not a rug project and that it's not going anywhere?
Well, first things first, right? The definition of a rug is a developer taking the money and running, right? So that happens because of anonymous developers, people that just go in, create a project with no real plan and no real ability. They try to get a big pump and dump spike and run off with either the LP or they have preloaded wallets, and we've all seen it unfold. So number one, having me as the developer means I'm not running anywhere. I've got too much to lose to try to steal $10,000. That's a couple YouTube videos from these sponsors, right? So that's not why I do this. So that's at its core. I think what makes our projects different is we're not in it for a quick buck. We're not in it for that. We're in it to really, truly provide a safe place for people to have fun in this space, support something, be part of something, and really maybe have some opportunity for some huge gains, right? That's what it's all about. And with LiquiShare, I wanted to combine my doxedness and what comes with that with true decentralization. Nobody, really almost no project out there utilizes a decentralized exchange the way it was meant to be used. By nature, the decentralized exchange was created so everybody and anybody could provide liquidity for these tokens, making them rug proof. If liquidity is owned by many sources, all of those people have to take that liquidity out in order to rug it and make it no longer tradable, right? Obviously, the more LP, the more stable the price is, but regardless of the amount of LP, if there's something, then it can be traded. So that is kind of where my mind went, saying, you know what, why don't we make a true community project where the community really owns it? And in order to own a project, you have to own the LP. So now, instead of staking your LP tokens and earning regular tokens, I wanted to say, you know what, you can do both. You can stake your LP tokens on LiquiShare, and you can also stake your regular tokens. So if you stake your regular tokens, you actually are earning LP tokens, which is a ownership of the actual project. So each and every block that goes by, each and every staker that stakes their tokens and starts earning LP makes this more and more decentralized. So that at its core is really my mindset and my focus with this is how can we make this a truly decentralized project where the trust factor is minimal. It's obviously great to have a developer you know isn't going to run off, and it's obviously great to have a team that is committed to making more and more advancements throughout the lifespan of the project. But it's also great to know that, unlike everything else, the community is truly in control. And we're going to continue to discuss that here in a little bit when I talk about some of our next utilities coming down the line.
Awesome. I think you hit it right in the head there regarding decentralizations and LP input, right? Now, I know that our community is very educated on that. I think when I first started participating in decentralization, like Uniswap and PancakeSwap, I was actually one of the guys that actually did a lot of LP, input a lot of LP, because I know that you can actually earn a lot of fees from that. If you picked a project early on that you think that do very well, based off the volume, it can be a very lucrative thing to do. Now, I got to say, I guess I had stopped doing that for a while just because it's been so busy, because you got to be very every time when you input an LP, when the market fluctuate, right, in volatility, time, that can eat off your earning a bit there, right? You can lose what you input as well, in a big way sometimes. But let's get into that though, Rick. So for those that knows about the LP input and you earn the fees off on the LP volume, you get a percent based off of your LP, the amount you put in LP. Those that may be asking the question, how is that different? Like let's walk through the mechanic. Let's walk through the mechanic. How is that different than if I was to individually go ahead and input the LP myself instead of going to your staking platform and do it through your platform?
Yeah, so basically you would still manually do the LP yourself. So we do have the link down there where you would go to PancakeSwap and provide the liquidity just like you normally would to provide LP. The difference being you don't just hold on to these tokens, you'll stake those LP tokens and you'll earn some additional LiquiShare tokens. So right now the daily APR is about 1.38% is what people are earning that are staking LP. In addition, we have an opportunity to stake LiquiShare tokens, and then you earn additional LP tokens, and that's at about 0.6% per day right now, so a little over 0.5% per day for that one. That will obviously change based on how many people and how many tokens are in there. Right now, we have 35.6% of our total supply that's locked up in staking. People are staking 35.6% of the supply currently. So that's great to see. And then again, so it kind of creates this kind of rotation where you can continue to compound because you're earning LP tokens on one staking pool, and then you're earning regular tokens on the other. So you take your rewards and kind of compound them and kind of double compound them that way.
Okay, that's good. Sounds good. Now, let's say with your platform, with the regular staking, you said that people can actually stake the tokens. Now, with the regular staking of your native token, there would not be implement loss to them, correct? Or will implement loss still also affect the people that stake stake your native token?
Nope, because since you are earning LP, so technically, I guess on the LP earnings, there could be, but the token itself, you don't ever lose those tokens, right? If you stake 100 tokens today, you're going to have 100 tokens in there when you unstake them as well, plus all of your additional rewards you've earned over that time. So that you don't have to worry about the impermanent loss that way.
Okay. Okay. So there are two ways of doing it. So they will also input the LP themselves, but they can also stake your regular tokens and earn more rewards off the LP.
Exactly. There's two separate staking pools on our DApp. So you'll be able to see which one is which one you want to do, or if you want to do both, you can take advantage of both as well.
Okay. Okay. Very, very, very straightforward. All right, awesome. And you say your launch is like around a year ago. Now, like you mentioned there, a month ago. That's correct, a month ago. Like you mentioned earlier, I'm actually looking at your chart right now. I think I looked at it yesterday. It's actually still very early. And for you to go be here today and actually doing marketing, be here with us at USA Crypto Group doing this AMA, that tells me a lot. It seems that you guys this is very strategic, and that you guys may have been kind of like slowed down a bit, like you care to shake out all those not too strong hands. And here you are doing marketing again, being here. Has this been the plan going, so far? Because when I'm looking at the $50,000 market cap, I don't usually see people, willing to start the marketing again, right? And most people will just give up, right? Has this been the strategy?
Yeah, actually, this was the strategy that I shared with our private sale group as well. So I gave them all fair warning that if you're going to buy into this private sale, the expectation is that you hold. All wallets were tracked, and all people are people that would like to be in my next private sales. So you get a little bit of a different response from those type of people. And if you look at the first 10 days or so, it was a straight up line. Our private sellers held on so strong. It was absolutely great to see. And then by design, I knew that if we continued to market that green pump, the dump was going to be epic, right? Because the private sellers at a certain point, you can't expect them to hold on forever either. So I kind of gave them the green light to do a little bit of profit taking on purpose. Right? I want them to make sure that they're making some money as well. And then I knew that would either give us a floor, or B, trigger a sell-off. And you can see it did trigger a kind of a 3-day sell-off on the chart. And so I came back with some additional marketing, pumped it back up, had about a week of flatness, and then that takes us to where the market started to turn. And I was not about to spend marketing funds when the market was turning bearish. So again, I was like, all right, time to buckle up and hold on, because you got to be strategic about when you're spending these marketing funds. They're not unlimited. So people that wanted to hold on, held on. People that wanted to sell, this is the beauty of what we do in crypto and decentralization. You can do whatever you want with your money. So they sold, and now we're pretty much sitting at a nice floor of where we launched on the DEX. So the fact that we're right back to where we were at launch shows you just how strong-handed those private sellers are. They haven't really dumped their tokens still to this point. And it shows on the chart. If they did, we would be so far below our list price. So that's one of the things. So now we get to kind of rev up, gear up again here. And now that the halving is 2 days away, and the market's going to start turning bullish again, it just makes sense to start getting more and more eyes on here. So I know you guys well. We've done quite a few AMAs together over the years. So it just made sense to come back and start this next leg of marketing with you guys, give your community the opportunity to get in here on an early basis, so to speak. And that way, when we launch these next utilities that we've been working on here, you guys have a kind of an early heads up to that, because there will be some additional marketing happening to support those utilities as well, including videos on my channel, which has not been done yet for this project.
And I appreciate that you being here again and giving us this opportunity to, first hear your new utilities, which we'll be discussing very soon here. But before we go on, there was a statement on your website that it says there's no team tokens. So which is actually pretty awesome to actually see. Let's emphasize further on that. So no team tokens. What does that mean?
So what that means is there are no free team tokens. Okay. If our team wanted to buy in, they could buy in the private sale at the same exact private sale rate, or they can buy in, which we have on the dips on the live chart as well. So I am a holder. I do have tokens, but I purchased them from the market just like everybody else with a fair shot, fair opportunity, no special rate, and definitely no free tokens.
Awesome. So Rick and the rest of the team, let's participate in the private sale. But again, that you also have to buy the tokens yourself. So that means is that when the contract was created, the tokenomics, there's no team token that was allocated just for whether you're an owner or any one part of the team. So they had to buy in like everyone else, which I think that's actually the only way. That's actually the fairest way to go about launching the project, because as we know, when a project launch a token and a person or any kind of single entity that owns a big percent of that, it's just never safe, right? You never know what's going to happen. But with that being said, it does comes with hardships as far as not having that, the tokens to sell off when you need to for marketing, etc. So that, but it is for you guys. So it's actually very fair. It's the only way, I think it's the fairest way to go on about it. So that's really awesome to hear, Rick. Okay, sounds good. So I think we got the basics out of the way. You launched around a month ago. Where the market cap's at right now is literally sitting at where you guys are launched at, which is actually very impressive because given what had happened to the market lately, right? I think APY's project fell at least 20 to 30% lately, right? Especially with the smaller coins out there. But I think, like you mentioned there, Rick, I think going forward, I think we're very bullish going forward from here on. That's my opinion on it. Yeah, so let's get into the future plans and the roadmaps and the exciting things ahead.
Yeah, so future plans for us, we have a couple different things. Number one thing is our game that we're finalizing some testing on here this week. We may be able to launch something as early as next week. So if all testing goes well, obviously safety first. We're not going to rush anything if it's not ready. But what this game is going to allow you to do is going to be a kind of a gambling game, so to speak. So you'll be able to wager some tokens and or BNB, depending on which game you want to choose. You will have an opportunity, depending on how large your wager is. The larger your wager, the higher your percentage of winning, which you'll be able to see clearly and all that to make sure you know exactly what your odds of winning are. You'll know what the prize pool is. But every single time somebody plays the game, it will create a buyback of the token, and that will create additional LP in the token. Then those LP tokens get automatically sent to the LP rewards in the staking pool, increasing the APY. So it starts creating this auto ecosystem of things where people playing the game to win some money are actually creating buybacks automatically through smart contracts, creating more liquidity, increasing the rewards on the staking pools, and creating this never-ending cycle of opportunity and growth potential with us. So that is, again, just about done. More to come on that here, and very, very excited to give that opportunity here.
Love that. I love that. I love how you guys are thinking, always feeding back to that ecosystem, right? Which is your foundation, which is the LP staking, and also the buyback. Also increase your APR or APY over year for those that are committed to the project, which is providing those LP in those pool. So yeah, no, I love that strategy. That just incentivizes further in your commitment or just giving back to the people that are loyal, who input, who participate in the LP. I think that's actually really great. But at the same time, if you play the games, you can earn extra tokens as well. Now the buyback, when you said the buyback, it's just buying the tokens and to put into the LP, right? It's nothing about like buy back and burn, correct? I just want to be
correct.
clear.
It's buying the tokens and putting it back into LP. to put those newly created LP tokens into the reward pool. So exactly. So it's just automatic flow.
It's the cycle. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's exciting. I think that's actually very exciting for the people that are in the pool right now, right?
Yep.
But again, you would get to earn additional income if you've been playing the games as well. So it's just another avenue of revenue. So that's great. What else? What else do you have going on? Is there anything else you have going on in the future?
Yeah, so we also are working on our full governance platform as well to really give the community control over certain things like tax amounts if they want to have periods of no buy tax and increased sell tax or whatever the case may be. Potentially even if we get a bunch of marketing offers, having the community decide through voting rights which one they would like to move forward with. Very transparent about how much it's going to cost the project, and have them put their votes in accordingly. So some real true project governance, making this more of a community token through smart contracts, because that's important, right? You can't just have it a Telegram poll because bots and non-holders and all that stuff. So we'll have a voting platform that will be able to see how many tokens and how many LP tokens you have staked, and that will be what dictates your voting power for the project's decisions. So true governance, true community ownership of this project is really what we're focused on at the core.
Okay, so you guys really gearing this towards fully decentralization. Now they have to participate in the staking pool in order for them to have some sort of governance, correct?
That is correct. So it will read the staked portion of your tokens, right? So again, truly supporting the project is feeling comfortable enough to stake, whether it's staking your tokens to earn LP, staking your LP to earn tokens. Those are going to be the true long-term believers, and those are the ones that, in my opinion, should be getting rewarded from all of this ecosystem that we're building.
What are the time frames on your staking pools right now?
That, my friend, is one of the amazing things that we do different because, again, we build our own contracts. This staking pool doesn't end. There are no time frames. The APY updates every single day through the smart contract with the current number of rewards and current number of stakers. So basically, this is a never-ending pool. As long as the community is there to support it, the volume's there to keep it all going, the pool itself doesn't end. So it's not like you've missed out on a portion of the staking pool, or you're locked in for 30 days or nothing like that. There's no lock periods and there's no end dates. You stake as you want and you unstake as you want. And that's that. That's it.
Wow. Well, that's actually very awesome, very unique. Because usually when you stake the pool, it does have a requirement how long you have to be in. Then it calculates the APY. Because usually in general, it's actually a lot easier to calculate the APY, etc. But looks like you guys have a very custom contract where it does that automatically. It's actually very unique. Now, in regards, that's actually sounds really awesome. Now, but I got to say, I mean, there's got to be some sort of penalty, right? In and out, right? Somewhat? No? Yes?
There are no stake or unstake penalties or fees. That
really?
If I'm penalizing my community for utilizing our platform, that is the opposite of what I think crypto was designed for, right? This is not for me to make money. If I'm going to make money on LiquiShare, it's because I'm staking. It's because the project has gone up in value, and it's because it blew up into something big as a community. I am not the guy that's going to nickel and dime my community every little chance I get. I have other revenue streams. That's not what this is. I create projects because I'm passionate about giving people a fair, safe place. And if I'm nickel and diming and penalizing, that's not a fair, safe place. And then on the staking pools as well, one of the key features that separates what we do from everybody else, I used to use a generic staking platform called Doxxed. It's just staking as a service. You create it. And I always wanted to increase the rewards, but once you create it, you're stuck. So if a bunch of people stake, your big APY has now shrunk and it's no longer exciting. So one of the key features of our staking platform is I can add additional rewards at any time, and that will update on that following day, or I can manually update the APY with those new rewards. You don't have to create a secondary pool or end a pool and start a pool and all those things to add additional rewards. I can add rewards as often as I want to keep a nice, healthy, attractive APY for both existing and new coming stakers.
Very interesting. And that applies to the new game that you guys are going to be launching as well. So let's say somebody plays a game, they earn some tokens, it does the buyback, it sends to the APY. So you tell me that the contract will update the APYs instantly, or whatever it needs to do automatically.
Exactly.
That's really awesome. That's actually really impressive, actually. Yeah, great job on the contract. It's actually really cool, and I love the fact that you guys are not making any sort of commitment or requirement from your community, and I think that's actually very crucial. And it's like, you have the freedom to do whatever you want, right? You can stake for 1 day, you can stake for 2 days, and you just get the APY based on that time frame with the new game, based on how many people are playing the games and how many tokens are going back to the pool. So it's actually very unique. I love that. I love that freedom. I think that there alone, I think that's going to actually gain a lot of trust from the community as you guys move forward.
Yeah, that's the hope, right? I think our largest obstacle right now, honestly, is just getting out in front of people. And then our number 2 obstacle is we're on BNB chain, right? That's really is what it is. And there is a clear reason for it. When you look at the gas fees on ETH, you just can't do something like this on ETH. You can't have complex smart contracts on ETH. You just can't do it. It's too expensive. It would cost $200 to stake and unstake with this contract. So you just couldn't do it. And then I just don't have a lot of faith in really any of the other blockchains out there. They're just not proven. And outside of Solana, which you can't program anything of any use, that's why it's nothing but meme coins and rug pulls on Solana, is because it's a completely different coding language. So BNB chain is the clear choice based on pure volume and adoption. So, that is not, it's the least exciting chain out there, right? Everybody's like, BNB, but at the same time, it's where all the volume is outside of ETH and Solana.
Correct. So, but when you zoom out, guys, actually, because BNB's been around for a long time, but you don't forget, guys, they're number 3. I mean, right now, the market cap is still 84 billion, and they do a heck of a volume. 549 is the price right now. It wasn't long ago, it's at 200, right? It's over 2x, right? So BNB, I think that the new CEO is doing a heck of a job. I think, it's a great decision that CZ stepped out. So there isn't any more of like a dark cloud over BNB anymore. So going forward, you guys will see that. I think BNB is gonna go do very well going forward. Solana popped up. The reason is this, again, right? Within the crypto space, we know that everybody flocks to the new shiny thing. And I think that's what it is. But it's very limited. It's very limited over there. Like Rick says, that very limited. You have a lot of memes out there. But, again, memes now is part of the culture. But I think it's almost like excessive over there. It's like too many.
But it's by nature. And as a developer with developers on my team, that's what happens right now. I mean, it's just unbelievable the amount of the difficulty to get anything built on Solana, right? You can't build a token with a tax, really. You can't build features on a contract. So everything is so hard to do that anything that they create on that network is going to be having to be blended with off-chain technology, which has its own vulnerabilities, or it's just a meme. And that's it. So, at the end of the day, that's kind of where we're at with it. It is what it is. But in my opinion, I really put a lot of emphasis on development. And that's the one reason I haven't launched on Solana yet, is I can't build anything on that network. I just can't do it. We're trying to crack that code, because if I could find out how to build a reflection or a tax token on Solana, we're all rich.
Yeah, I actually it's funny because you brought it up because actually I had an extensive conversation in a private chat with a few people there. Yeah, it just like you said, it has to be like an off-chain technology. It is going to be done, but it's going to be very, very hard, very difficult to do. Uh, and I don't know if it's worth it. So that's why I love BNB, man. BNB is the versatility. I mean, this is like right in the middle of Ethereum and everything else, right? Uh, I mean, the flexibility that you have on BNB is amazing, and it allows people to be on board. Like with Ethereum, I love Ethereum, but when you actually zoom out, I used to travel a lot, and I've been to Thailand and China and Vietnam and other parts of the country. People are making $8 a day in some countries, $20 a month. So I that's why I think Ethereum is very hard to get adoptions because how can you justify or how can you onboard people paying $80 gas fees when it's congested when other people making like when they're making like $8 a month or $8 a day? You just can't do it. So that's why I think BNB. That's why where it's at today. I think BNB would be continue to be dominating the chains. Solana, it's great, but I don't know. We'll see. But I think it kind of jumped up there way too fast.
Yeah, I love Sol. I play on Sol all the time, right? I love to gamble in memes. I just don't like to build them, right? Because I feel guilty knowing that I have nothing to give to the community. And that at my core drives me crazy if I can't develop something, if I can't try something else. When I have to hang it up for any project that I ever do, when I have to, because we all have to cut ties at some point with it and just admit when it's at its end. When I get to that point, I need to know I did everything. I did the marketing that I said I was going to do. I built a utility and then built another one to try something different to get more traction and then market it around that. And there needs to be these steps that I can take to feel confident that I gave every single effort that I could to making it a success. And you just can't do that on Solana right now. It's all about marketing funds. And since you can't have a tax, that means you're dumping on your community to run the project. There's no other way to do it on Solana. You have to bundle in a majority of your tokens into the liquidity, right? And then it looks like you bought them from the market, but you didn't. You just bundled it in as LP, and you got that distribution, and you slowly dump that on your community. That's the only way to pay for marketing, and it's sad, right? So that is why I haven't launched anything on Solana yet. I have people telling me all day, every day, launch on Sol. We don't care. We trust you to dump responsibly on us, and just please, please, please. But it doesn't sit right with me if I can't build something. I don't know. It's probably a downfall, honestly, in the crypto space.
You're right. Rick is 100% correct. That is the only way to go about it. Either you actually have to hold a big percent of the tokens for yourself, right? And you can say, hey, this is going to be for marketing, which we know, right? Sometimes that's not the case, right? So, and if you actually look at a lot of Sol coins out there, it's exactly what's happening. You see it goes up very high, but then you will see that there's going to be a big dump, and that is the only way. You either have to bundle it up, or you have to really set a big percent of the tokens for quote unquote marketing or whatever you want to call it, right? But yeah, that is the only way to go about it. So no, I love BNB, and I think that's actually the right decision. I think it's actually very fair. BNB is still very cheap. It allows people to jump on board. Doesn't matter where you live, United States, Vietnam, China, whatever, right? It's very cost effective to participate in BNB chain. So I think that's the right decision. If I was to launch a project, it'd probably be BNB too. So yeah, very flexible on that chain. Now let's go on to taxes. Now, since we're on the taxes and all that, Rick, let's talk about the taxes. What do you have going on, and where is it being allocated to?
Yeah, so the taxes are pretty straightforward right now. 4% buy, 4% sell, 3% of each of those go to liquidity, 1% goes to the marketing funds, and that's really how it's laid out right now. So those liquidity tokens, are getting sent to the staking APY. So again, that constant tax is feeding into the APY of the token staking, making it again more of an ecosystem feeding itself.
Awesome. Very straightforward. 4% in, 4% out, 3% to LP, 1% to marketing. Very straightforward. And it's not very high. And I remember when this whole taxes thing come out, you have projects of like 30%, 20%. You remember that? Oh my God.
It used to be absolutely insane, right? And it was bullish to have a 30% tax. I was like, how is that bullish? But okay.
And people were still buying it in, you know?
Yeah. It's wild to me sometimes when I look back at the things people have flocked to, not just allowed to happen to them, but were supporting it, right? They were like, okay, not just okay with it, they were encouraging it. It's absolutely wild. And that's how I look at Solana right now. Everybody knows they're getting dumped on by every single developer over there. They just don't care. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, we just went through the period where you post a contract on X, right, Twitter, and you're able to raise 25 million within a few days. That was just like around 3 weeks ago, guys. You know, I mean, now you see that it doesn't happen no more. But man, like you go through, we see all these faces. It's almost amazing. How do you raise in traditional world? Even VCs and all that, you had to go through like, you know, a lot of hoops and loops and all that. And you couldn't even raise 2 million. And here we are on X. You're able to raise 25 million within 1 day. Insane, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy. But hey, I mean that's what we do, right? That's what we love. If you have been in crypto as long as we have, all that craziness is what makes this great. All that unpredictability is what makes this so damn exciting. And the ability to sit here in this chair and create something like this almost out of thin air, and people have an opportunity to make some money with it. I mean, that's pretty cool. There's not many places in the world that you can sit your ass down in a computer chair and people across the globe can now make money because of something you've just built in a month, right? So that's exciting to me. And it goes back to one of my core things about crypto that I love, and it is meeting people from around the globe in different walks of life. Just like you talk to people, I know people that make $1 million a week, and I know people that make $20 a week, right? And everything in between from that. And I have absolutely met some of the greatest people that I've ever met in my life over these past 7 years in this space. And a lot of them aren't the ones making $1 million a week. We'll say that.
You know, it's actually beautiful. It is. You're right. This is what exciting about the crypto space is. You know, I was a regular trader, traditional trader, and you know, being United States, right? It's almost impossible to protect in an early project, right? In traditional world, we call that IPO, right? Initial public offering, which it requires to have like at least 300,000 or 1 million, and you have to be in the ins to actually protect in that IPO. And here we are, like everyone can protect in an early project. It's freaking beautiful, man. It's so amazing. The accessibility and the opportunity that it allows everyone to have the whole world. You don't have to be rich. Literally, it's a space that if you're actually willing to work hard and learn and do the right thing, you can make it in the space, which is unheard of, right? Unheard of 10 years ago. Amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it's people that, where else can you throw $100 and turn that into something life changing? Because of a dog meme on Twitter went viral, you know, like it's insane. And I do love that. And I don't like to talk down too much about meme coins because again, I do love them. But I love the ones that turn into something more, right? I love the ones that start as a meme and then build around that and all of that. And that was one of my biggest projects, right? Was I had this project for almost 4 years where we were providing liquidity to meme coins because I was trying to find ways to help there be less rugs. And I know that rugs happen because these developers don't know how to develop. So I had a bunch of these, you know, smaller meme coins joining in and utilizing some of the some of the utilities and things like that. And that's always in the back of my mind for LiquiShare as well. Down the line is some white label utilities for them, whether it's through their own websites or utilizing our dashboard if they don't want to have the DApp and things of that nature. So there's a lot of different avenues we can take this, and at its core, it's about decentralization. In 6 months from now, a year from now, hopefully we're sitting here talking about how far we've come and how much it's evolved. But one thing at its core will never change. It will be about the community. It will be about, the decentralization aspect of this beautiful space that we're in. And really growing will dictate which way we go, will be a lot from our community, from our governance and the voting that's going to be coming out here down the line.
Awesome, man. I love guys like you, and I appreciate your input, into the space, right? Very ambitious, but also you're here to doing it for the right reason. Rick runs the channel. He wouldn't do anything stupid to jeopardize everything, things that he's built over the years, right? And so that's what I love about you, man. You're actually here, you're doing it, at least you're trying to do it for the right reason and do it the best as you can and uplift the space. The space is crazy. It's beautiful. It's exciting. But also at the same token, you got to be careful, right? You really have to be careful in the space. You got to take it slow. You got to, you don't just jump into things, I mean, even though I've made a lot of money into the space, and it's the same reason why, Rick, is that I haven't launched the project. It's because like you, I just feel like if I'm going to do it, I got to do it right. I could not sleep at night knowing that I did something stupid or take people's money. I would never do that. We had so many talks within my team. Why don't we do it? Why don't we do it? I just can't see not if I'm gonna do something, I gotta do it right. And I feel like you have the same alignment with me on that as well. And that's the reason why you 100% doxed. I still love the two tokens, the big tokens you have in the back. I mean, my camera is really blurry right now. I love it, man. Is that Ethereum? What's the other one? Because I can't really see it. Ethereum, Bitcoin. What's the other one?
So yeah, we got Ethereum and Bitcoin, the big black ones, and then in the middle here we have the top 10-ish or so tokens from a few years ago. So it's just a little backdrop for the YouTube channel.
That's devotion. That's lifer right there, guys. That's a lifer. When you have some sort of cryptocurrency in your room, you're a lifer right there. You've been around for a long time, right? You're committed, you're devoted, and that's it. There's no point of return at this point.
Yeah, there's no going back. Once you take the red pill, right? you're all done. So yeah, it's one of those things that I absolutely have loved since the moment I started doing crypto. And again, I make plenty of money in this space, and I don't think I've ever made money on a project. At best, I break even because I'm so focused on everybody else making money on my projects that it's just not a priority for me. I get pure joy out of creating these things and getting the feedback of people making money and having fun and just even if they don't make money, just knowing that they had somewhere safe that they knew they wouldn't get rug pulled. Right. The ability to buy into a project and go to sleep without that anxiety. We all know that anxiety if you play in the meme space of, oh my God, should I sell before I go to sleep so I can actually sleep tonight? You don't have to worry about that because you're not going to wake up to one of my projects to no LP and Telegram's gone. That's just not what it is. That doesn't mean it's risk free. Risk is everywhere in the world, especially investing in cryptocurrency. In the low cap space. Yes, there's risk. No, I can't sit here and say you're going to make 100x, but what I can sit here and say is I ain't going anywhere.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And and everything takes time, guys. When you find it great, I always invest in the team, right? The developer who's behind it, right? Not necessarily the idea sometimes, right? It's very easy in the space to jump around and find that next new shiny thing. But you actually look back and analyze and correctly assess your portfolio. Did you really make money off those coins that you jump around? But if you look back, had you actually sat on a project, on a correct developer, you would have done so much better just sitting there supporting that token and hold it. You know that. I've done it. I look back, man. At one point I was just jumping around. I'm like, God dang, had I only sat there for another 6 months, I would have made millions. But instead, I jumped around. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think, the biggest mistake that I think a lot of people in new to space, that's what they're doing. And sometimes it's unfortunate, but we all will learn at some point.
Yeah, everybody sees those launch candles, right? And they get like that adrenaline rush at launches, and they are exciting. They are, but they are the highest risk in the space, right? In order to get a 20x, you have to be willing to get a 0x, and that means you lost all your money, right? So you have to be willing for that, and that's what you risk in every single launch. With something that is more established, has been around a while, it's more of a utility play, this might not go 20x this week, but it's also not going to go to 0 this week. So it's a different mindset. It's more of a long-term mindset of, okay, do I buy in? Do I stake? Do I actually grow my crypto bag a little more comfortably? And I'm not saying instead of some of the meme plays. I'm still in meme coins. I'm still going to do that. But nobody should have their entire portfolio in those high-risk meme plays. Any true investor in any space will tell you you need to have some very secure long-term investments. You just need to. Are they the fun, sexy ones? Not usually, right? But they're also the ones that are going to be there for you when you wake up tomorrow when the other ones have run off. So just understanding that and having a real solid mindset to attack this space, I think is one of the things that we're missing from a lot of the newer investors in crypto. And it's kind of scary and sad for me when I see somebody in a meme coin group upset over the price because they spent their last Ethereum or their last BNB or their last fill in the blank crypto on some cat coin, hoping it for 100x, right? That to me is one of the scariest things about our space. And I try to do my part to help educate, try to change some mindsets out there, and to provide, again, a fun, safe place to get something a little bit more stable and secure.
Yeah, like this space is fun, exciting, right? Like you, Rick, you had made money. I have too. I have not lost. Zoom, I have not lost at all. Actually, I've been actually very, very lucky, fortunate. I have been wrecked multiple times actually, but I have not lost money. Have not actually. In fact, I think I only made like a one-time deposit, which is like around 7 years ago. So, and I'm still surviving the space for this very long time, and it's only been one deposit. So that says a lot about how I choose my projects, right? And usually always based off the team, right? Like you said, you have to identify what are the tokens you're going to hold for a long time. You got to have patience. Patience is the key. You have to have risk tolerance. You have to know your risk tolerance, like Rick said there. You cannot just put 100% of everything you have on a very high risk token. You can't do that. But if somebody's winning out there, there's got to be losers out there. As far as that's just the game that we're in, right? So imagine people coming in at all-time high and they lost 80% or 50% overnight, man. And there's a lot of those, right? Fortunately, I haven't experienced that yet, but man, I know the game. It's a ruthless game. So yeah, pick your token wisely, pick the team wisely, and you got to have patience. I think that's the key, right? You cannot be bouncing around this space. You know that, like, especially, there's some high tax token out there. In and out alone, that's 20%. Yep. And people don't realize that.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's one of the things that I try to do is, again, it's like it's a whole mindset thing of not chasing that green candle, actually buying the dip, right? But when you say buy the dip, people are like, well, I already bought. How am I supposed to buy the dip? I already put all my money in. So, just outside of LiquiShare, outside of any specific project, one of the things that I'm passionate about is trying to help people with their trading mindset. If you really like a project and it's at or around its all-time high, happens a lot at launches, right? Don't put your entire amount that you're willing to put into that project in at that time. These things are going to dip. That's what happens. So you get in, you maybe catch some of the wave up and be ready for that negative 80% because it's going to happen. But that's when you DCA and now you drop your cost per token down substantially. And now your profit level is a whole lot lower than it was at your original entry. So there's a lot of what is basic strategy, basic trading strategy that just gets ignored in this space. Everybody panics when they should be buying and buys when they should be taking profit. And it's a vicious cycle that for some reason continues to repeat itself over and over and over again. And I think it's because everybody's chasing that 100x, right? And they're like, well, if it's dipping already, that means it can't be 100x now. You have to catch it in the middle of its pump. That's the worst time to ever buy. I love to buy that flat chart that started to tick up again, right? It came down, leveled out, and now just a little sign of life. You look at that, then you look at the project, you look at the team, and you say, okay, I can see some potential here because at least the risk of a further decrease is more minimal than when you're buying it at the top. Your decrease risk is extremely high when you're buying the top. It's basic, but it goes completely underutilized, and it's one of the best ways to limit your losses in this space.
Great advice. Great advice. And I think you guys zoom out. I mean, you guys just look at the space, right? And look at the space. Like, I mean, what Rick said there is actually very valuable there. And you guys should actually really take that into harder consideration when you guys buy in the token, because I think that's actually the lowest way, I guess the best way to minimize your risk is that flat line. The chart's been accumulating for a long time. You know that it's not going anywhere, right? The only way is up, especially once you do your research, the right team, the right people behind it. The only way is up usually, and that's the case. And as we've seen, if you actually look at a lot of the chart, what's happening, which is crazy to me, is that even people that partake in the pre-sale and they come out and just dump right away at the loss. I don't understand that mindset. What causes that? It does not make any sense to me at all. As you can see, most of the chart, like on any launch pad comes out big drop, almost like a 60% drop. Then it comes back up. You look at who's the selling. The people that took in the pre-sale. Like, it does not make sense to me at all. Is there a reason for that, Rick? Like what is your thought behind it?
Yeah, so being somebody that's done pre-sales, there's a couple reasons that happens. The number one reason that happens is an overzealous development team who is taking either too much of the pre-sale money and not putting enough of it into liquidity, but still trying to give a huge return to pre-sale buyers. So basically it becomes a rush, a race to sell at that huge price or that good gain, right? So say you buy into the pre-sale and they tell you, okay, we're listing at a 70% profit from the pre-sale price. Well, there's only going to be a few people that get that full 70%. And so everybody knows that the game is simple. You try to claim your tokens first and sell your tokens first, because then that dip happens and then you can rebuy the dip with the additional profit you've made. So they've created a whole different game of buying a pre-sale. It's really, you buy the pre-sale in order to sell as fast as possible at launch, knowing it's going to dip huge, and you'll be able to now have a larger amount of tokens if you buy back with your initials plus some of the profit. You have a larger stack at a relatively same price. So there is a method and a reason why people do it. I don't like that methodology. That's why a lot of my private sale, pre-sale stuff will only have about a 5% variance between pre-sale and listing price, because then there isn't any real reason for that immediate dump.
Yeah, and I think so. A lot of the tokens people actually sell at the loss, lower than what they bought in the pre-sale. So I think they just follow the herd, right? They just kind of like, to be honest, I don't even know what the hell they're doing. Like, a lot of people just, they see people sell, they just sell, right? And that always kind of like blows my mind. It's like you bought in the pre-sale at like 0.5 cents, let's say 50 cents, and you're willing to sell immediately at like 30 cents. Like, it's crazy. Yeah. I never understand that, but like kind of Rick said there, you pay attention to the chart. It's always dip first. It's like a trend now. It's a dip. then guess what? A day or two, maybe as part of the strategies, maybe the developer knows that there's going to be a lot of weak hands out there. They let it ride for a second, a few days, then bam, the chart shoots back up. And I think if you guys pay attention, it seems to be that's the case that's going around lately with a lot of the charts on the launch pad. But anyway, Rick, I love your advice. I appreciate advice. I think we may do a lot of these, AMAs and just talking about trading and chart in general. One of the things, Rick, what do you think? I want to get your input. Like I said, I always believe in the team, the people behind the project. And I feel like, the developers sometimes, great developers, sometimes are not being showcased the way it's supposed to, or nobody really know who they are. I love to put together like a show where get to know the founder or get to know the developers. Great developers. I've been thinking about that with my team. What's your take on that? You think there's something that we can run with, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's always good for developers in the space to have a platform, especially the ones that you guys have worked with multiple times over years, where you feel real confident putting your name out there. And saying, you know what, these are some trusted developers in the space. If they're coming out with something, it's worth a look, right? So I think there's definitely some value to something like that. I would just be careful on your end letting random developers in that you haven't had a established relationship with, because you don't want to have them utilizing your platform to make a name for themselves for some shady actions.
Correct. Awesome advice there, brother. Sounds good, Rick. It's always been a pleasure seeing you, and I love your ambition. I love your effort or your input in the space. I think we need more people like you in the space who actually have the right mindset and trying to do things correctly, properly. Unlike a lot of other developers that I see out there, right? Just straight up in it just to make money, rug. 5 days later, that's it. Going to the next, right? You still here? You still dox yourself? I mean, if you do anything shady, you want to be in the same room with that three when you threw in the back, right? So that speaks volume, man. That speaks volume. So not a lot of people can do that. So I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. Is there anything you want to speak on?
No, I just want to thank you guys very much for bringing me on. If you or anybody in the community have questions or interested in learning a little bit more about the project before you buy in or anything like that, come on over into the Telegram, chat with me, chat with the team, chat with the community. We're not a meme community either. You're not going to see a bunch of ridiculous gifts and all that. Like, that's just not what we do. Probably a little more boring than your normal Telegram channel, but we're focused on the project, and we think the project will speak for itself over time more than just having to excite people and get them to hit the buy button because there's a lot of memes on the screen. So come on over to the community, and we'd love to have you guys.
Yeah, and as we all know, lately, the last few days, BTC went from 74 to 63. That's over. That's around 10 grand drop right there, right? And it does affect the markets. I'm actually really surprised to seeing Rick here doing AMA in this moment, right? Because we know even the meme tokens are now, everything is dropping. So for him to be in here, pay for the marketing, that speaks volume. I mean, this is a long-term project, and it's actually don't see that a lot. I actually advise a lot of developers. I told them to push back. Lately, that's why we have not do a lot of AMAs lately, because we know this. I know the sentiment of you guys out there. People are very hesitant to buy into anything at this time. So with that being said, Rick, next week when you guys launch a token, let me know. Let my team know. I'd love to have you back. 100% on us. It just actually speaks volumes to me that you being here in this market, in this down market, whatever people think. But we know is that right now BTC is down. People are very hesitant to buy into anything. So the next one that you coming through here, Rick, you let us know anytime, man. I'll bring you on.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you again for having me. We'll see you guys around, and stay safe out there. Protect those gains. Protect your capital. Be safe out there, everybody. Thank you.
One thing, Greg, last thing. To be fair, usually Mike will be here to pick a winner. If you can just scroll down and pick one AMA listener winner, it's going to be on us. Just any random one, that'd be great. So that way they know that I'm just not picking anyone that I know. So you pick one.
All right, let's see what we've got. Wow, we've got quite a few on here. Let me see. We're going to go ahead and, you know what? Summertime's coming. We're going to go with campfire.
Campfire. I like that. I like camping too. So awesome. So if you can campfire. Rick, if you do me a favor, just go ahead and DM me that screen name so that way I can pay the person properly.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you being here at USA Crypto Group for this AMS session, and I thank you, Rick, again, and we will hear from them very soon, and maybe a week from now, again here. But as soon as I open up this room, you guys will also get in just for fun. Just I don't know how many people on here, but let's do 1 to 200, a random number, 1 to 200. Okay, 5 guesses only, and you guys get a chance to win another $10 just for fun. I will pin their TG, LiquiShare TG. Make sure you join the Telegram and ask further questions if you need to. Now, we do have a lot of questions in the room. I don't know if you want to answer any questions, Rick, or you got to go. But if not, I'll direct them to your room. They can ask questions over there. But in our pin post, Rick, if you look at your banner under the comments, usually we get like, I don't know, man, so many questions. So I guess I'll just direct them to your TG and they can ask questions over there. How's that?
Yeah, that would be best. I do have another engagement I have to get to here soon, so I do appreciate you guys. I don't like to rush these things, but I do have some other stuff I have to attend to. Business is calling.
Awesome. I understand. All right, guys. Rick, it's a pleasure seeing you again, and we'll catch you next time, brother. I know you got to go.
Thank you. Have a good one, guys.
Thank you. All right, guys. So once I open up the TG, again, 5 guesses, 1 to 200. And yeah, just do it for fun. And you join the TG. I guess Johnny, Mike, and myself, mostly Johnny and Mike go there, pick a $10 winner there as well, just for fun. I know that we couldn't get to the questions, but I'll make sure to go through and pick the best questions like always. I think that should wraps it up, guys. Appreciate you guys all being here, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, bye.